your dreams trying to tell you something? Author M.B. Mosley teaches you how to decode your dreams and take hold of the manifestations that lay in wait for you in the waking realm. Now, broadcasting all over the world, it's the Dream Interpretation Podcast.
Hello there, Dream Zone Interpretation Tribe. You are now tuning into the Spiritual Sweet Spot Saturdays. Say that fast. I dare you, dare you, dare you. All right, guys, I'm so excited to introduce this session. It was impressed upon my heart because I felt that we are dealing with all things spiritual dream realm. So why not add little days like this? I don't know why the days have to be little, but why not add days like Saturday just to kind of get that refresher that will touch the center of our spirit. And I'm also excited to lead these sessions on Saturdays from a manuscript that I have had forever. You heard right, a manuscript. That's how much I love you guys. Hello, and welcome back to Saturday Spiritual Sweet Spot. I am your host and author, sister friend, Memory Bengessa Mosley, MB Mosley. Hello. Grand rising to you all, kings and queens, and great awakening to you, queens and kings across the globe. All right, so I'm so excited to be here today on with our series, and I'm so excited to be here. I know I can't stop saying that. I hope this podcast finds you and your family doing well. How has the week been? Peace and blessings to you all across the globe. So as we endeavor on our path to the journey of our true self, we started off January at the top with letting go of those things that no longer serve us. And then we explored boundaries, healthy boundaries for a healthier you, mind, body, and soul. And then we explored forgiveness of self. What did that look like and what did that contain? And then we explored showing up or show up for yourself, right? That was very insightful, very power packed. And to combine showing up for ourselves, so show up for ourselves, today we are speaking about who is self. Who is the self we keep talking about? And who am I? I thought I would just kind of put them both in there and tackle them together. And so before we get started, I'm going to do a reading from Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. And this is true. Which is freedom, better? Fame or integrity? Which is more valuable? Riches or good character? Which is more dangerous? Failure or success? Overindulgence creates waste. Hoarding invites loss. The man who is content with what he has is not in danger of loss. The man who knows when to stop is free to go on. So in the efforts and endeavors of our journey to our true self, and once again, I do thank you all for accompanying me on this journey to my true self. And as we proceed on this journey to our true self, we find ourselves sometimes in these little peculiar spots. Who is this self and who am I? I believe they're both analogous, and I believe they're both important to talk about, because there is no journey to true self if we don't know who self is. But for how do we know who self is if I don't know who I am, right? Right. All right. So let's dive deep and explore. Let's dig deep. On the surface, we are spiritual beings whose souls host the flesh. Some may believe we have been traveling for all of eternity and changing bodies like a uniform, and our souls are eternal. That is what some may say. However, let us talk about who we are today here in this flesh form with the souls that reside in us as the spiritual beings that we are. What is it that defines you today when you look at yourself in the mirror? What defines you as the human being, the soul eternal creature that has been blessed here upon the earth, what is it that defines you? Question is, what is life's purpose in you? Because I got away from what is my purpose and purpose. Remember the concepts at one of the podcasts I have taught before is that we are human beings. We live in a world where concepts make up beliefs and so forth. Y'all remember that hour-long podcast. But what is life's purpose in you? Because for we are traveling on a spiritual journey and a path for lessons learned, right? Long time ago, I used to look for my purpose. What's my purpose? But I understand I've rephrased this to what is life's purpose in you, because we are here not by coincidence, but we are here purposefully already. So for me to have asked a long time ago, what was my purpose, was kind of redoing the whole entire question of my existence, if that makes sense. Because therefore, we breathe the air, we are here, we are who we are as human beings breathing, and that means we're already living in purpose, right? Yes, we are. Even you too. All right, so let's talk about some of these questions that have been posed to us, right? What is it? Who are you today? If you look yourself in the mirror, what would you say defines you as an individual that you see? Understand in this journey to true self, in our conscious awakening moments, that we are who we are internally. That's where the rubber meets the road. For years, I was a corporate leader and a clinician, and that's what I thought defined me internally. I felt like it defined me internally, and I understand what I'm saying, because I was never one of those people that walked around, if at those times in those years, back in the day when I was on Facebook, you would never see what I did for a living at all. You wouldn't know where I worked at all. So it wasn't about the bragging part about my position and where I work and how I work and when I work. But internally, of course, right, you get that little, this is what I do. You know, when you look yourself in the mirror and nudge a little bit, this is what I do, and you do it to your greatest and utmost. So that was all I knew. However, I say that indirectly and internally because that's who subconsciously I morphed into my position. And I realized that because, relocated through the organization and just going to work, I became this workaholic, and that's who I knew. And that's who probably, if you asked me that, what defines you, I would have probably said my job, my position. That's what defines me. But unbeknownst to me, as the spiritual being that I am with the soul that resides in me eternally, I am who I am, right? Has that ever sounded familiar to you from the ancient book of wisdom? I am, meaning I am who I am in my soul and my being, in the God creator that resides in me, the prime, the divine that resides within me. Right? Though that is our potential as the God beings inside of us, right? As the creators that we are, right? Right. So now understanding that on the surface, materialistically, the positions and the material accumulation does not define who we are internally, soul-wise, spiritual-wise. They may be nice additions for some. However, that is not who defines you, because then you're putting a caps and a limitation on your soul being your spiritual presence. If that makes sense, say it makes sense. I could hear you. All right. So I like to talk about my example, because when I did depart from who I thought I was on the surface, then it took about 6 months of pure darkness, feeling lost. You didn't have the schedules, the meetings, the obligations, and it's like a 360 whirlwind hit me in my face, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. Like, what do I do next? Who am I? But, I had to, and it's a learned lesson. It was a process. I'm not saying it's easy. If you've been doing something for so long that has become you now, and the detachment part happens, it takes a while to get over stuff like that or to get total closure. So it was a moment where it defined who I was. Okay. And I started to dig deeper into my soul, right? The position didn't make my personality. Rather, when I was over there, the position created a distorted personality and character in which I didn't care for because I didn't recognize, and it had overconsumed me. And here I was, this militant leader that had a hard, cold heart because protocols and procedures were calling for that. And I never enjoyed one part or bit about that, but stuff like that will chip away at you if you are dishonoring your true self and your soul. And in those days, I couldn't articulate that, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I didn't like it. Who likes to fire anybody? Who likes to be the bad news bearer? Who likes to be the one that lays down the law? I mean, that wasn't me. So detaching from all of those elements, the good, the bad part about it, took some awakening in my soul and my spirit to understand that I am who I am. I am the being that comes from the source. I am the person that comes from the source. So whether or not I'm ever in a position like that, I am content where I am because my life's purpose in me is here. I'm existing. I'm breathing, right? And I always say this, if I ever do nothing at all in life, I am content. Trust and believe that statement came from a long way. You're talking about somebody that was like planning 5 years, 6 years in advance and felt like, I had control of everything and just, and then boom, when stuff unravels and you realize you're not in control, really, are you? Because life is so unpredictable. So now we talk about who we are today. What defines you today? What is it that defines you? I found out the process of definition, just from my little mere examples here, is just simply understanding that what defines you is your internal and soul compass. You are who you are. I am that I am. You are who you are, right? The you are who you are. The piece of the piece of the source. Understanding that life's purpose is in you. It's been manifested in you, and that you are manifesting life itself as you proceed on this journey to true self. Understanding that the ego can tend to get in the way, whether it is formally introduced to oneself or it pops and rears its ugly head in us, and then sometimes we may deter or see something shiny and believe that sometimes with the concepts of society that materialistic things, possessions, and or positions define who we are as beings. However, this is a eye-awakening moment, an opportunity to understand that if you're content within oneself, and please don't misconstrue being content as being stagnant, but if you're content in who you are as an individual, who your soul eternal is as an individual, then understand that ego stands no room to get in the room of where you are heading in this purposed life already. It's purposed. You're here. You're breathing. It is a purpose life already. For those wondering what my life's purpose is and what am I doing here, you're here. The rest is up to you to manifest. Manifest what it is that you want from the universe. Because remember, the universe says yes all the time, right? It's yes all the time. It's what we manifest as the soul eternal beings in us. Endeavor and walk through this path of journey to true self, let us acknowledge who we are and who we are, being our internal utmost, being the soul eternal beings that we are, being the spiritual beings that we are that are on this journey, understanding that the universe is always saying yes, and it's up to us to reach out with the universal laws of attraction in the intentionality realm, right? And to manifest our lives. We are purposed here on this journey, to live this journey, to influence each other for the positive, and to vibrate in higher vibrations, and to continually discover who our internal beings, soul eternal beings are on this spiritual journey. Yes, it's okay if you love to accumulate materialistic possessions, cars, houses, yachts, and so forth, but never forgetting that you don't want that fine line of ego to come in and fog up and confuse all that you have accumulated here as who you are as an individual. Who you are as an individual is an internal emotion within from your eternal soul as a spiritual being. That's who makes who you are. You can look at people's personalities, character traits sometimes, and understanding that, you know, if you're anything like me, where I was detached from my true self, and I had this facade where I had to feel like this is what leaders do and this is how you lead, and therefore I felt like that was dishonoring myself because I wasn't true to myself, because I wasn't lined up with that my personality, character, and who I was as an individual was in conflict with what my position at that time wanted me to be like. And sometimes life happens like that, but we learn, we grow, and we keep on moving. And I'm so excited about this because understanding who you are and who is self can bring upon the utmost content space, which is a beautiful space to be. And it can also host about peace, because you are at peace. You are at peace. You know, the movement I've always admired, and I was like, hello, I was a minimalist before minimalism was a thing. But the minimalist movement is a beautiful thing because it teaches you that you don't necessarily need a lot in life, but yourself. You know, I mean, we love our friends, we love our families, we love the human beings around us, but understand when it comes to possessions and so forth, it's a beautiful, beautiful concept, you know, and here's, it's a beautiful concept. It was years coming. So here's where I started to learn a little bit about myself. When I wanted to invest in my home, my first home. So I went a whole year without shopping, doing anything, no nails, nothing like that. Guys, I saved about over $10,000, right? And so that was my goal, just to stack up my money, pay the bills, and not do anything out of, you know, no massages, no nails, did my own hair. And so, but it was still an interesting, that moment in life taught me something that I had. This is where I learned to say, I have everything I need. Because before all of that, I used to go shopping. Oh, it's a beautiful day outside. Let's go shopping. And now you got a closet full of clothes with tags. What is going on? Like, what is going on? What does Lao Tzu say in the Tao Te Ching, right? Hoarding invites loss, right? The man who is content with what he has is not in danger of loss. The man who knows when to stop is free to go on, right? So I'd have all these clothes piled up with tags, and, you know, and then what my husband's favorite saying is wastes make wants, because that's what his great aunt used to say. And so now I got all this stuff probably not worn and just stacking up and taking up space. But when you learn that your being here is already purposed, when you learn that the universe is always saying yes, when you learn that you can manifest the life that you want, when you learn that you are who you are within yourself as a soul eternal spiritual being, when you learn that, when you learn to be content and peace befalls upon you, you will learn that you are everything and anything that you need within yourself, and you get to that intimate spot of knowing exactly who you are once you eradicate the ego. So at the top of the podcast, there was a couple of questions. Who is self? Who am I? What defines you? And who are you today? What is life's purpose in you? Remember, what is life's purpose in you? Because you're already purposed to be here. Understanding that I came away from asking what my purpose is because I already am. meaning that I am the spirit, soul, eternal that's existing here among the rest of the human species, meaning I am living, breathing. I am a living, breathing human species that is here to savor each waking moment and enjoy every part of the journey till my life's full purpose manifests itself. However, what I do know is I walk with dreams, spiritual dreams and visionary dreams of what type of life I'd like to live/manifest. What is it to live life titleless? Beautiful, I respond. And titles belong to the superficial concept, right? Superficial concepts and abstracts of what human life and human living is, right? All our days, all our lives growing up as little kids, it's embedded into us that there's certain titles that are way heavier than others in terms of positions and class and all these things. So now we grew up with an unopened mind because now we're thinking, okay, and there's nothing wrong with people wanting to achieve their utmost manifestation. I'm all for it, whatever your soul desires, because the manifestation lies in you, right? But listen, so we growing up with all these titles, gotta be titles, classes, upper class, middle class, lower class, and just learning about all of these things, and there's, once again, I'm not against, because I'm more so like a car person and a lovely house type of person, So make your manifestations be known. However, what I'm talking about is when we step away from those things and know that those things don't control us and that those things are not us and that we are the eternal soul beings here on earth living in this beautiful spiritual journey to learn the lessons of life itself. So it is peace. At the end of the day, the journey to true self is a true discovery of your internal soul, of your soul eternal, right? It is a discovery of yourself as the human species that is down here living in this spiritual journey. Understanding exactly who you are as an individual and understanding exactly who you are within this journey also provides the amazing recipe of peace itself, for life itself is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift. However, peace added to that will let you always know that everything in your life, no matter where you go and no matter which way the wind blows, that you will always be your true self, because you will know who your true self is and you will know who you are, knowing and understanding that titles don't make up who your soul eternal is, but that you are who you are. Love you guys that much. Stay blessed. Life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. Seize the moment to enjoy each day while en route to your intended destiny. A quote by Memory Ben Gessemer. If no one has told you this today, I love you. I appreciate you. And yes, we can do this thing called